Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Noelle, and today we are going to talk about how to start running. So the reason I picked this topic for this week's vlog is because I moderate a very large Facebook community for runners in the Philippines. It's called Pilipinas Running Community. I actually don't own the group. It's just that one day, many years ago, I was invited to be part of the group. And when I accepted that invite to join, I found out that I had administrator privileges, which means I can approve or disapprove posts. I can delete posts. I can turn comment sections off or on. I can approve member requests. I can also kick people out of the group and ban them if needed. Now, I've tried not to have too heavy a hand on this community because it has thousands of runners in it. And I know that, my opinion is not going to be the same as anybody else's. And I want people to express themselves freely. In this country, we have freedom of expression. So I basically approve many, if not all, the posts that people submit when it's related to running or anything endurance. I think the only posts that I disapprove are those that are completely out of topic and those that involve the resale of race kits, because we believe that you need to buy these race kits directly from the organizers to protect both the organizer and the runner. Because if you buy a secondhand race kit, you're basically racing under somebody else's name. The insurance that the kit has paid for is under somebody else's name. So you're not completely covered. And it's also to prevent, people buying up all the kits and then reselling them at a higher rate, right? So I digress. But in any case, the reason I chose to talk about how to start running is I've seen a lot of people come onto the Pilipinas Running Community group and ask, I'm a beginner, how do I start running? Or they might even commit the mistake that many of us made when we were all beginner runners and call any run of any distance a marathon, even if it's not 42.195 kilometers. So yes, when I see these posts, I approve them and then I go right to the post and I try to shape the way the conversation goes. I ask, what are your goals? Do you really mean you want to run a marathon, or are you talking about shorter races like 3Ks, 5Ks, 10Ks, what we call fun runs, a half marathon or a marathon? And based on that sort of first comment that I do, people comment more helpful information. In the past, when I didn't do this, you would get random people just post really unhelpful stuff. For instance, how do I get faster? And then somebody goes, run 70 kilometers in a week. Hello, this person is a beginner. You tell them to run 70 kilometers a week, you're asking for trouble. That's asking for injury. So yeah, when a person says, how do I start running? The first question immediately is, why are you starting running? Because that guides all of the recommendations thereafter, right? If a person is starting running because they want to lose weight, or they want to build fitness, or maybe they just want to build a certain kind of fitness because they have another sport, a primary sport that's not running. And then there's people who are like, I want to achieve a race finish. And then there are people who are like, I want to do a marathon. It's actually a real full marathon that they want to do. So based on the goal, that's how you can make recommendations. Now, I've been running for 15 years and I do have a fitness background because I was a group fitness instructor for almost 10 years. But I don't want to call myself a coach, even though I've read coaching books, I've helped some people towards their goals, towards their running and general endurance goals. But that was a long time ago. I don't do that anymore. So I don't consider myself a coach. Whatever I say is based on experience and reading up to my gills and consulting with people who I know better. I've been thinking, and so, in progressing in running, there's probably 4 stages. The first stage is you build your cardio fitness. So there are people who have never run before and they always complain like, I can only run 5 minutes and then I have to walk because I'm so out of breath, etc. And those are the people who need to build cardio fitness. So that's the first stage. It's like layers of things to make you a complete runner. Build your cardio fitness. Aside from that, you also need to build musculoskeletal strength. So I've encountered people in triathlon and they were swimmers and cyclists before they picked up running. And these people are absolute VO2 max monsters. Like they have an endurance and a capacity for cardio that you would not believe. Unfortunately, their capacity for cardio has outpaced the strength and the fitness of their muscles and bones. So these cyclists and swimmers, or former cyclists and swimmers who pick up running, are more likely to get injuries of the lower legs, like ankle injuries for the swimmers because their ankles are really flexible, and for a runner, you don't really need flexible ankles. So their ankles might bend in the wrong ways while they're running, and so they get sprained. Or the cyclists who get knee pain because their bodies are not used to the impact that running gives. And then you can start to build speed. So a lot of people can have natural speed, and a lot of people, more often, don't have the speed, or they start off slower than they really want to be, and they have a time goal, so they want to go faster. The last thing that you build is endurance, so going for longer distances. And this kind of pathway, it's followed by developmental coaches for youths and other stuff. Now, if you're coming into running as an adult, some runners as adults want to go directly into endurance events and they want to go long distances and they don't care how fast they are, etc., which is fine. It's just that these are the foundations of running fitness that you want to build. You can work on them at the same time within the same workout, but yeah, usually faster runners make for better long distance runners rather than long distance runners and then you try to make them fast, you pull it backwards. It's a little bit harder to work that way. At the same time, to be a fast runner, you do need to have endurance. So don't think of it as like a strict 1, 2, 3, 4 sort of progression, but in general, this is what running fitness is based on. So those who are starting out from zero, you really do need to build that cardio fitness and that musculoskeletal strength. Especially if you're a heavier runner. Some physiotherapists are reporting that a lot of people, because of the running boom, are coming into their office with injuries because they're carrying a lot of weight, and that weight has made them more at risk for injuries, and those injuries have happened. So yeah, definitely if you're a heavier person, try to start out with walking first, build your muscles up so that they can handle the impact, build as well the tolerance of your body for high impact activities before you actually start running. And one of the best ways to do this, to build both cardio fitness and musculoskeletal strength, is to follow a Couch to 5K program. And there are many available on the internet. There is actually a trademark Couch to 5K program that you can purchase, but there are also many other, like from Zero Fitness to 5K programs. And you don't even actually have to race a 5K at the end of the program. It's just that it will get you fit to the point where you can run a 5K if you wanted to. So now you've been running for quite a while. You've run a 5-kilometer time trial. If you didn't run it in a race, you can run it in a time trial. Now you have a baseline for what your fitness is. You kind of know what your running, your race speed is, and now you can start setting goals. Like you want to run faster. So let's say you did that 5K in 40 minutes and you hear about people doing their 5Ks in 30 minutes or less. Then you can start working towards that by looking for training sessions to take you towards that goal. And when I say looking for training sessions, I don't mean hopping on the forum or the Facebook group and asking, how would you get faster for a 5K? What are your training sessions? Although you can do that, but you run the risk of having a random person answering and giving you useless advice. Rather, I would prefer that you hop on the internet, go to Google and search for running a sub 30-minute 5K. And that will give you options. Like the search results will tell you what kind of training you need, how often you need to do it. Maybe it will give you like the structure of the actual training session that you can do. And then you can try to implement that. Another option is to actually go and look for a training plan, which is complete training plan for, I don't know how many weeks it would take for you to get that time goal that you want. The more obvious option is actually to go and hire a coach, retain some actual coaching advice. And this is the one that's actually the most useful for achieving specific goals that you want, because then the coach can look at you, look at your fitness, and tell you exactly what you need to do to achieve your goal. Now, I know coaching is a little bit expensive, or people have this perception that it is expensive, and I've gotten away with not actually being formally coached for most of my running journey, and that's because I went out and read a bunch of stuff. I read books on the matter, on how to train your body so that you're training your energy systems, your muscles, your endurance, your speed, that sort of thing. And I actually did follow a few training plans in these books. What I mean is that you have to get your training advice from reliable sources. Okay, not just some random person you scrolled past on TikTok who said that they ran a marathon on no training. Don't believe everything that you see on social media, because a lot of times people do things for clicks, but yeah, it's not reality. If you can't afford a brand new book, try to buy or borrow a book from somebody who's pretty knowledgeable already. I bought a lot of books back when I was starting, and then I sold them on to other people, some of whom have gone on to become coaches themselves. It's such an important resource, reading. One way of knowing if a source is reliable is if whatever they've put out there for people to do has actually resulted in a person performing and reaching their goal. Like, for instance, the training plans that I said I followed from Runner's World magazines or the books that Runner's World has put out, that sort of thing. And I got what I wanted out of these training plans, which was get fit for a certain distance or run a certain distance a certain time. And this also applies to actual coaches as well. If you're going to hire a coach, ask them to show the results of their athletes. If their athletes have, achieved the times that they wanted, you can also ask around for recommendations on who a good run coach is. It's not an absolute must for the coach to be a perfect physical specimen who can run fast and far, that sort of thing. But for me, they need to have produced results in other athletes. So basically, that's it. To start running, you can start by getting good guidance and building the foundations of your run fitness before you actually start pushing towards goals. And then when you push towards those goals, make sure that you have the right information and the right guidance to go towards those goals safely. That's all I really wanted to say. All right. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you found this informative and interesting, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel. I'll see you again next time. Bye.